What is going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your podcast. We got a special guest today, Mr. Esaias Guthrie, Jackson State signee. He is going to go play for Coach T.C. Taylor and the Jackson State Tigers. Esaias, how's it going, man?
Good, man. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's no problem at all. It's no problem at all. Esaias, you had the big announcement. I remember you did your Instagram, you had your live stream and everything. What kind of went into that, making you want to do your announcement that kind of way?
I just feel like a lot of people was waiting on it. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of people was waiting on it, just waiting for me to capitalize and build my brand. Being at this new day and age that we live in. And so I'm just always trying to figure out new ways to kind of just build my brand and then kind of just interact with the fans in a different kind of way. I know a lot of people see us differently just on the field because we always got our helmets on. So it's kind of different. Like I used to walk around and people didn't even know, like people would talk about me to me and they didn't know like I was who I was. So I was dang, like crazy. Like people would know our faces as football players all the time. So it was so
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, just kind of like I like for my face to be out there, like people just get to know who I am in a different kind of way. So I just took that opportunity to do so.
Man, it was awesome. It was amazing, and it was a good thing you did it that way. And I was happy, and I was happy for you and your decision. And let's rewind a little bit, man. Let's talk about the early days of playing ball. Who was the first person to kind of introduce you to the game? What were your first thoughts about football when you first got introduced?
So I mean, me and my brother played sports. We actually played basketball first,
Okay.
but then he got interested in the football, and so I got interested into football too. Just being that it was my big brother, and so we started playing in the city league for the J Street Raiders at an early age, now known as the Northern Hurricanes, and so we kind of transformed into that. But the coach that really stuck with me through the whole process, his name is Kerry Galloway. He's a coach that I now call like my dad, actually.
Hmm.
Being that I didn't grow up without my father, and he's taken me all the way through high school and all the way through this very moment when I was trying to figure out where I was going to go to school. You know, he was actually on the phone when I was on the phone with Coach TC and Coach O, just asking questions, asking different questions and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, growing up, football was kind of different for me. You know, I was a big kid, so and I was kind of like a little like my IQ for the game has always been kind of high
Okay.
naturally. And so I was so good at a young age where they didn't really think I was the age I was supposed to be. So my mom kind of crazy. Like my people would be on the sideline arguing with the other team's coach and stuff, because they would just always try to get me kicked out of the game and stuff. And so it came to a point where like my mom had to like literally carry my birth certificate to the game.
That's awesome, man. And that kind of goes into my next question. That was like, when was the first time, because you're a Division I athlete. Like, so when was you kind of explained it there, but the first time you kind of knew that you were pretty good, I guess is when mom was fighting off folks saying that you weren't the age that you
Well,
that you
I
were.
mean, like, yeah. So like, I didn't like. I mean, I would know this stuff was going on, but like, like just being young, like you're oblivious to it in a sense too. So like growing up, like yeah, I mean, I love playing football, but it was more just so like for the game. Like I didn't
Yeah.
realize like I didn't realize how much it really involved, as far as like being so good and just going to go play college and all of that. So I mean, for me, it didn't hit until I was like in high school, really, to where I
Okay.
was like, I could really do something with the game. But I was still always that kid to where like even my mom and my coach would tell you like where like little kids would be like where like people would come down to our practice and be like, well, who wants to go to the NFL? And I'll be the only kid without his hand raised because like I just did that was the thing for me. So I was just like, yeah, like I want to be a lawyer, and I still do. I still want to be a lawyer. Always wanted to be a lawyer, but like now that it's become like real and realistic, and it's something that I can kind of like really see in my future. It's kind of hitting me differently now, and so it's now become a goal of mine and something that I really want to accomplish.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Once again, we're talking to Esaias Guthrie, Jackson State DB signee. Now, Esaias, let's talk about high school, man. What high school did you go to, and what was your first early formative years of high school like as far as playing the game?
I went to Alexis I. DuPont High School, up in like Greenville, Delaware.
Okay.
Um, I did 2 years there. Finished out my basketball season in my sophomore year, and then I went and transferred down to Middletown High School, where I finished out my high school career. in Middletown, Delaware. It's like 15, 20 minutes from Dover, where I played Delaware State. And so early on, like I came in and I actually played wide receiver. And so that was my I played wide receiver. And so my wide receiver gets hurt. My starting wide receiver gets hurt. He was like a 4-star wide receiver. Like his name was Taylor Edwards, I believe. Is that his last name? Taylor Edwards. I think he went to UMass.
Okay.
Yeah, a big dude. Went to UMass, but he tears his ACL in the first game of the season. He tears his ACL in the first game of the season. They put in another guy over me. But that dude, he didn't know the plays. So by second half, they're like, yo, we got to figure it out. So the UMass commit, he was like, yo, like put in. So I come in, catch a slant, do good, catch that, keep going, catch a hitch, come back, keep going. I dropped my third pass.
Oh, man.
Yeah, crazy. So I'm like, dang, like they're gonna probably take me out. They didn't take me out. So comes down to it, I end up scoring. I think it wasn't the game winning touchdown, but it was like the game like sealing touchdown for us.
Yeah.
Then we won our first game of the season, which they hadn't done in a while. But yeah, that was just always crazy for me. But a crazy fun fact. I've always scored, whether I play offense or defense. And every season I played, I've always scored in the first game of the season.
Even like the sophomore year, you scored in the first game too.
Sophomore year. Sophomore year, it's crazy. So let me tell you a story. Sophomore year, I come back.
Let's do it.
I was like, my freshman season, I was one of the leading receivers in the state as a freshman. And so I come back. My coach didn't really like me too much. My head coach didn't really like me. I don't know why though. Like I swear I don't know why to this day.
Trust me, I've been there, so I already know.
He doesn't start me first game of the season. He doesn't start me. We go down. We play Sussex Tech at Sussex Tech. We go down. We're getting killed bad. And so I end up getting in the game. Second half, like first drive I'm in, I score. First drive I'm in, I score, and then I starting. So which is crazy. So then my junior year comes up. I'm at Middletown now. I transferred to Middletown, and that season, I was always sick. I had tonsillitis really bad. But every time I went into the hospital, I would like stay a day. They give me medicine, and they'd send me about my way like they wasn't trying to take them out. So that happened the first game. So I didn't play the first game, or I played probably like just special teams the first game, like, but didn't really play like no significant time, probably like 2 snaps. So the second game, which is like my true first game of playing, I come in and score, and then that takes over itself in itself. My senior year, I was wide receiver 1, so I scored for sure. And then my freshman season, as far as playing for Delaware State, I go ahead and I get the pick 6 against Howard.
Okay.
Which was in like the spring season.
Yeah.
And then I go ahead in the regular season against who was that, Bowie? I go ahead and score in that game on a pick 6. So I've always scored in the first game of every season I played in since my freshman year of high school. So hopefully when we go down to up in Georgia,
Atlanta,
you
gotta do it again, man. They gonna remember this. That's the thing. JSU fans, they don't forget, and they remember stuff like that. So they're gonna be looking forward to you getting into that end zone when you guys go down to Center Park Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia for that MEAC SWAC challenge. So that definitely gonna remember that. But let's rewind. Let's stay in high school for a second. You talked about you were still wide receiver as senior year. So what was the recruiting like? When did you start getting recruited? Who were some of the schools that first hollered at you? And how did you ultimately make that decision to go Delaware State?
Got you. So going into my senior year, I started playing like DB for real. So that summer into my senior year, a couple coaches was like, yo, like my trainer was like, yo, like when you go to these camps, play receiver and DB. When you go to the college camps. And so I went to Temple camp, played DB, did very well, and got the attention from a high school in New York who wanted me to come there. They're called Erasmus Hall. They're responsible for a lot of guys coming out of New York that usually go like Rutgers and stuff like that. But I ended up not going there, staying in Delaware. But I would just always go to camps. And so I got the attention of them, but I also got the attention of Fordham University. St. Francis, Sacred Heart, and different schools like that. And so I didn't have no film though. Like I had no game film. Like this is my first time really playing DB, but they're just seeing me at camps.
Okay.
Yeah, so so I got a call like one day from St. Fran's. They're like, oh, like we want you to come up for a visit or whatever. So my mom was like, I don't know, like that's kind of far, low key. I'm just like, I gotta go. I gotta see what they're hitting for. So I go up there, and they offered me on the spot. And then a week later, they offered me. A week later, Sacred Heart offered me, and then it just started kind of just rolling from there.
This is all for DB. They were offering you for play DB, not receiver.
Yeah, so those two schools was for DB.
Okay.
I also had schools for wide receiver, but I ultimately when I committed to go to Delaware State, it was for wide receiver. I ended up getting for wide receiver to play wide receiver. Yeah,
I got you, man. And so let's talk about that. You go to Delaware State. You're thinking you're gonna play wide receiver. When did that transition happen? What took? Did someone get hurt? Would you just realize I fit better on defense? When did that transition to defense full time kind of happen?
So the coach that recruited me to play wide receiver actually went and took an offensive coordinator job somewhere in like Midwest, or maybe just the West Coast. And so head coach called me up. I was actually I had a really good relationship with the defensive coordinator, and it was like, oh, like we're thinking about switching you over to defense. And so the guy that's now like one of my best friends, Wade Inge, he got recruited to play DB. I got recruited to play wide receiver, and they switched us. So then,
wow,
he went to running back. Like before we even met, like we didn't even know like what actually happened until we got there.
Okay, because that's what I was about to say. This was actually before you got to campus. All right.
Yeah, this was like a couple weeks after I had signed. A couple weeks
okay.
after I had signed. And so so I was just training DB. And I actually and then like the day after I graduated high school, I was enrolled into Delaware State, did some summer courses and stuff like that.
Absolutely, man. You go to Delaware State, you ball out, you make All-American teams, all conference teams.
Yeah.
When was it that you made the decision like this probably isn't for me? I think I want to test the waters and kind of put my name out there in the transfer portal.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it wasn't really like a test the waters thing. I never believed in like jumping in the portal, jumping out, doing none of that. I feel like if you want to say you leaving, like I feel like from my perspective, if I'm a coach, and I mean everybody different, but if I'm a coach and a guy jumps in the portal, like I wouldn't really want to accept you back. Like you don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when I made that decision, it was more like, all right, like this is the way it gotta go. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go somewhere. Yeah. I can't come back here. You know what I'm saying? But it got to a point to just where like it just that decision had to be made for everybody's best interest, especially mine and my family's, in my career. But it ultimately happened right after the first game of the season. I think it was like a Tuesday, the next Tuesday after the first game. And so I made that decision and never looked back.
Absolutely, man. Now you talk about that. You made the decision, during the season. So you essentially after the first game of the season means you pretty much missed all of 2022. Was that tough for you, man? Not really playing?
Definitely was tough. I mean, this is the sport I've been playing since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? How I get a lot of my frustrations out. When you're a football player, it's something that you live, breathe, So without it, it's kind of like you lost in a sense. And that's why so many people, when they leave the game, they kind of lose themselves. And so you just got to find yourself in other areas. And me being a dad, I kind of found myself just honing in on that specific part of my life, while also attending games. Like if you ask any of the guys, like they know, I was at all their games. Like it was at a point to where I was scheduling visits to away games so I could go see the game. So I was going to visits for away games at other schools, just so I could just watch the game, just see how they was doing. But also, I mean, knocking two birds out with one stone. Just being able to take the visit, explore my interest in other schools, but also be able to see my friends and my brothers play as well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Once again, we're talking to Esaias Guthrie, Jackson State defensive back. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, and subscribe. Now, Esaias, once you hit the portal, I know that because of the transfer of Sy'Veon Wilkerson to JSU, the fans were on top of you, right? Like they wanted you to come to Jackson. Like as soon as your name got in there, they saw those. Even if they didn't know exactly who you were, they knew Delaware State had been nice to them, right? Like Delaware State had been real nice to them. And so and then once they found out, oh, this dude can actually really play, we really want him. So they were like blowing you up. When did that's just the fans though. When did the actual coaches get involved as far as recruiting you from Jackson State?
Around the same time, actually. So when I had hopped into the portal, it was kind of a crazy, wicked time just because the new rules had just dropped. And so within a 2-day span, I was in the portal and then out of the portal. And I was just, at that point, I was just a regular student to a certain degree. But within that 2-day span, they had hit me up. Savion had hit me up and told me that he wanted to get my name out there. And I was like, yeah, I definitely entertain that for sure. So Coach Shad had hit me up. Let me know that they was looking at me and all that. Kind of went dead for a while just because I was out of the portal, and they were also, chasing bigger things, trying to finish out a season. But I mean, after that, once I hopped back in, it was kind of like nothing had changed. They still wanted me as much as I wanted them, and we just kept rolling with it.
Absolutely, man. Now, knowing that school wants you, and Savion initially wasn't the starting back, but then he got going. Like he became a beast. What did that kind of like, yo, I see my dog from Delaware. He did his thing at Del State, just like me. And now I'm seeing him kind of get busy down there at Jackson State. What was that like for you watching at home, watching him do his thing at JSU?
It was a great moment for me, just being that, like that was a guy I always looked to. When we was at Delaware State, just to like go hard, you know what I'm saying? He was a young guy. I mean, like I'm older than just being a sophomore on the field, but I'm older than him. So he was my young dog, and I was just looking for him at Delaware State, and he can really run the football at a high level. And I always thought that he was better than little old Delaware State myself. So when he made the decision to go out there, I was so excited for him, and then just to see him play so hard and do his thing, I was so excited. And I mean, like, that's the type of guy I am. No, like I just love when people excel, because that kind of just gives me the opportunity to do the same. You know what I'm saying? Especially from an offense to defense perspective. If offense is doing good, that means the defense is doing good. We're staying off the field for a while. We get to breathe for a little minute. So it just makes things better. You know what I'm saying? The less opportunities, the more opportunities we can provide for them, just makes the game go smoother.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Now, you talked about like those rules, and for the people that don't understand what you meant by the rules change, what happened was the NCAA came out and basically said, hey, we're putting a window for the transfer portal. So like if you hop in after, you won't be eligible for the fall and different things like that. So I want to just clear that up a little bit. And that's gotta be rough, man, because that means that you essentially couldn't really contact or be in contact with coaches, and it kind of can put a hamper on what you had going on. And for you to still be able to come out the way that you were able to come out says a lot about you, says a lot about your game, and that's really great. So man, I'm happy for you in that sense. Let's talk about the fact that you were first contacted by Coach Shad, and then once you once again re-enter the portal, that coaching staff's gone, right? Coach Shad, those guys there, they left. What was that like for you? And when did they kind of get back in contact with you after the kind of the transition from coaching staffs?
It was cool. I mean, it was a cool, smooth transition at the end of the day. Coach Shad was the assistant wide receiver coach, and then Coach TC Taylor was the wide receiver coach. So it wasn't like I missed a beat or anything like that. And Coach O, he's a recruiting coordinator. So I mean, when I was in contact with him, and he stayed, it just kept going. You know what I'm saying? It was a smooth transition for sure. I'll tell you that much. They made sure that everybody was kept in communication with me from every part of the staff, and so I felt like like they didn't skip a beat, and so that kind of also drew me there to where it was like, like kind of going through HBCU world. You know how dysfunctional things can be, and so when that whole process kind of went through, and it was kind of a smooth transition through as far as communication, as far as letting me know what was going on, as far as everything. And they didn't skip a beat, and so that kind of was it was pretty dope to me. It felt like they really truly wanted me to be there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Now, when did you finally like realize like, okay, because you took some visits. I know you went to Morgan State, and you did some other places. What was the ultimate factor for you choosing JSU over some of these other programs that wanted you to come play for them?
Yeah, I mean, Coach TC alone, that's a guy I truly look up to. I mean, just hearing his story and how he got to where he's gotten is amazing. And so when you just sit down and talk to him, he's a guy you're going to instantly like just fall in love with, man. Like he's just a good dude. He's a good dude. I mean, so that was a big factor to me. And then just the city of Jackson. The city of Jackson is amazing. Anybody who's been down here will tell you the same thing. Who've talked to the people, who've gotten to walk in their shoes and kind of got the ability to, or got the opportunity to see things from their perspective. It's amazing. You know what I'm saying? Their fan base is ridiculous. Like it's actually
it's like, different. It's different. It's definitely different, bro.
They compete with the best of them. So they're infectious, man. They're infectious. That love that they have for their school, for their community, for their football team is amazing. So I just loved every bit of that. And I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to be able to feel that love that they have for their school. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be able to feel that same love for my school and my environment. And that's something I've never seen before, coming from Delaware and being in Dover. You know what I'm saying? We had, I think last year they had 4,300 or something like that people at the homecoming game.
Man.
You can
10x that. You can 10x that, or a 15x or whatever it is.
Right. So, I mean, that's something I just can't wait to be a part of, man. That's something I can't wait to play in. An environment I can't wait to play in.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you can 10x that on just a regular home game. Homecoming is actually a little more than that. Yeah, you can 10x that just on a random Saturday in September. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a lot different, man. Once again, we're talking to Esaias Guthrie, man, Jackson State signee. He's gonna go play for Coach TC Taylor, man. Esaias, for the people that don't know you, man, how would you describe your game? How would you? Is there someone that you compare to, maybe in the NFL or current or past, or how would you describe it?
I wouldn't say I compare myself to anybody, but I do take a lot of little pieces from a lot of people's games. I try to watch a lot of film and try to hone in on different things like that as far as that goes. But just because I understand a lot of the offensive side of the ball, coming over from wide receiver, I kind of take my game from a lot of DBs are very athletic. You know what I'm saying? And they rely a lot on their athleticism, whereas for me, I rely a lot on, as much as I am an athlete, I rely a lot on the intellectual part of my game, the IQ part. And so just understanding what the offenses try to do to the defense as far as spreads go, as far as lining up goes, as far as a point in the game, as far as down and distance, as far as who they got in the game, their personnel groups, different things like that. I try to use that and hone in on that part just to put me in better positions to make plays, essentially, and kind of just overthink the offensive coordinator in a sense. So I watch a lot of film. I break down a lot of people, and I break down a lot of the little things. And so that's what I rely on mostly. And then I just, once that kind of breaks down for me, I go ahead and play ball, and I play fast. And I'm able to just make the plays I'm able to make.
Absolutely, man. Hey, the fans gonna love to hear something like that, man. You talked about like watching film, breaking down, like, man. That's like singing to people when you talk about football, because a lot of people think y'all just go out there and just hit people. It's like, nah, there's an intellectual part of this game. Like if you don't know what you're doing, you will get beat. You will lose. You will not be successful. And so to hear you speak like that is awesome, man. Especially coming from a defensive side of the ball, because a lot of times you think only quarterbacks have to think. Like, no, everybody has to think, especially playing in that back seven, man. You mentioned being a father, man. What's that like? What's that like for you?
I don't even know how to say it. Honestly, it's been a journey. It's been an amazing journey, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. But I have a great support system behind me, a great family, a great mom, great sisters, great grandma, brothers, all that. So they help me out. They help me and they keep me going. I have a great relationship with my son's mom. And so we make things work where they probably wouldn't be able to work for people in my age. Kind of avoiding different situations that don't really need to be a part of us. For people in my age, it's kind of hard to get past certain things. And so just being able to do that, push past certain things, just keeping my son as the focal point of everything has kind of been how we do that. And so it's been great. It's been great. It's been great. It's really been great. I mean, Drake said it best in one of his songs. I think he said, I've been hot since the birth of my son. and that's truly born August 17th, and I've been hot since the birth of my son ever since August 17th, 2021.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And see the way you speak about your son, it gets you a big smile, man. It gets you like we've been talking football. Football's like, yeah, I smile her. Well, we talking about my son, man. That's a little different, though. We get to this special territory, man. That's awesome, man. That's awesome to hear that you have that great relationship with your family and your son. He'll be able to watch you ball out in the vet this fall, man. And speaking before we get to the fall, we got spring ball. You know, you're down there in Jackson now. You said you're getting your house and crib stuff situated, man. How's it been for you so far?
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Down here, just meeting the coaching staff, meeting the support staff, meeting the strength coaches, getting around. I'm probably gonna hit church tomorrow. I had somebody come me and say I should come past their church, so hopefully I can come past and enjoy some of the people, just talk to certain people. Got the opportunity to go to a basketball game for one of the young guys who signed, Isaiah Spencer.
Yeah,
and watched him ball. He can ball, man. He can ball. So it's been great. It's been great so far. I love it down here so far. I know I'm gonna continue to love it. Just can't wait till the football really starts rolling in and getting back on the field. You know, I ain't been on the field in a little over a year. Like really, field. Like, so when I play in that game, it's gonna be 2 years since I played football. When I step back on that field, just like a COVID year would have been. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's gonna be amazing for me. I can't wait to get back to the game I love.
Absolutely, man. Now let's talk about like going into spring. What are kind of like your expectations for yourself heading to the spring camp where you'll get, like you said, you'll finally get to put on some pads for the first time in a while. You'll finally get to hit somebody, you know what I mean? And with all the talent that's being brought into Jackson State, you'll be fighting for a spot as well.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot, you know, it's a lot that goes into it. Just being able to prove I am who I say I am. You know what I'm saying? This ain't just all hype. This is
you
know what I mean? So
this is real. Yeah, he said this is real. This ain't just social media, man.
Real life. What I do is real life. I put on a show, and being able to show that is gonna be great. I love that. Can't wait for it. But I mean, we're all new here. You know what I'm saying? We're for the most part, we're all new. You know what I'm saying? Got a new staff coming in who has no expectations, but high level expectations for everybody. But doesn't really know anybody. You know what I'm saying? So we're all starting at ground zero. And I think that's the best part about it. You know, we're all literally at ground zero. We all got to prove ourselves from every single level. And so that's going to be great just for our coach to learn us and for us to learn him as well. Going through the spring ball, I think it's going to be very big on how we go into the season, really. You know what I'm saying? So this is really going to set a great foundation. And for me, I'm more so, I mean, it's going to be in phases, but I'm looking to really establish myself as first. And then throughout the spring ball, just establish myself as a player and then as a leader within that back half, and then just really just show the young guys how to play football. I mean, a lot of young guys coming from high school, they kind of think it's easier than what it is. You know what I'm saying? Whether you got the stars, whether you got the athleticism or not, it could be a guy that's half as good as you. But that coordinator is really what's making it work, what's driving it. And so being able to understand little things like that takes your game to a whole different level when you really start to understand the little things. And just being able to just keep the longevity in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to make a big hit every time. Just get the guy on the ground. Play full court. It's not two. So
absolutely.
Just those type of things, being able to lead, being able to establish myself as a great player and as a leader here at Jackson State.
Absolutely, man. Now, Esaias, what are some of the things that you like to do outside the game? What are some of you have any hobbies, anything that you like to do outside of playing ball?
I keep my brand at the forefront of things. So I run my brand as a business. A lot of NIL stuff. I own a jewelry manufacturing company. So I do that, and then I have a son.
Shout it out. What's the name? Don't just fly past that. Let us know what it is.
It's
Enzo, where we can find it.
It's Enzo Jewelers. Enzo.jewelers. On Instagram, that's ENZO.jewelers. Absolutely. So I do that. I have different NIL stuff going on. I'm about to drop a company called My NIL Deals University, where I kind of go in. Excuse me. I kind of go in through different modules. I just teach college athletes and student athletes how to go about getting and securing NIL deals. as far as just the basic of understanding what it is to look for in a deal, how to structure it, how to approach these companies, how to attack it in different type of ways, shapes, and forms, and then how to close and really go about the deal afterwards, after closing it, and really going through your social medias, posting different things like that. So I do that as well. So I got a lot going. I got a lot of things I want to do. Me and my mom was riding around today, and she's looking at different spots within the community that she can go ahead and buy up and do different things. So it's a lot we got out here. So we looking to do a lot of big things in this next 2 to 3 years.
That's awesome, man. That is awesome. And so it sounds like your mom will be spending a lot of time in Jackson. What would that be like for you to have your mom, coming from Delaware to be right there in Jackson, Mississippi with you?
Yeah, I mean, I got a big family, and that was a big question that the coaches asked me as well. Like, how would it be like moving away from family? But it ain't like that. It ain't like that. Not for me. My move is one, and so when I went to go grab my apartment, I'm looking for 3 bedrooms. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm bringing some people with me. They gonna be back and forth. It ain't like I'm leaving them or nothing. We migrate as one, and so it's gonna be a lot of back and forth. So I mean, it's pretty dope just to have them here. It's not like I'm moving in by myself. It's not like I'm on this journey by myself. I'm on it with my whole family, and they're on it with me. And so it's been pretty dope to do that.
And that's awesome, man. And trust me, mom's gonna get a whole lot of love when you making them plays in the vet. Them folks gonna remember moms too. Like they gonna take care of her too, man. They gonna be right there, high five. Trust me, I know, man. I went to the vet and I just report. I'm just the dude on the internet talking. And so like I'm nothing compared to you guys. And I got a whole bunch of love when I went to the vet. So I know when you out there making those plays, I know what it's like. They're gonna have those jerseys. They go, what jersey number you think you're gonna rock at JSU this year?
Most likely, more than most likely, I'm gonna get 6. More than most likely, 6 is still gonna be the number. Still gonna be my thing.
Okay, is there a significance of having number 6, or is that just a number that you got when you was at Del State, or what? Is there anything behind the number?
Not personally to me. It's not. I mean, it's been a big like branding thing now that I started. At Delaware State. Delaware State had a guy. His name was Bryson Allen. He was from Delaware. He was a Delaware guy, and he came in and did great things at Delaware State. And so when he left, it was kind of like a tradition for them to have the best guy from Delaware come in and wear 6. And so I came in and wore it, took it over, and did my thing with it, and created my own little thing. And so now if you walk around, if I was to walk around at Delaware State or go to a Delaware State game, they'd be like, "Oh, like you Mr. Pick 6, number 6." And so that's
I like that.
Yeah, so kind of more of a branding tool than anything. So I'm just using it to my benefit now.
Mr. Pick 6, I like that, man. That's gonna ring well when you take that first one to the crib, the first game of the season, because we gotta keep this tradition going. So yeah, because it's Mr. Pick 6 is gonna be nice, man. Once again, we're talking to Esaias Guthrie, Jackson State signee at the defensive back. Now, Esaias, you kind of spoke about it a little bit earlier in the interview, man, but once football, I hope you have an illustrious career at Jackson State, go on and play professional football for a long time. But we all know this game ends, and it ends fairly young. Even if you have a 10-year, 12-year career, you might be 35, 36 years old. And so you spoke about some of the things that you want to do after football is over. But why a lawyer? What made you want to be a lawyer?
I love going back and forth. I love conversation. And I feel like it's an area where I can excel in that part of my life. I just love that whole part of it. There's a lot of research that has to be done, a lot of things, a lot of intellectual breaking down. And so I think of it like this: like I play defense, and I break down the offensive coordinator, I break down the team, I break down their offense, and that's kind of what you have to do as far as a case goes. You have to break down what they're trying to do, break down how they got to do it, and then go about it and set yourself up in different ways. And then I just get to help my people. You know what I'm saying? And the system that we kind of been a part of and kind of been taken advantage of as far as different things. So I get to take care of my people and give back in different ways. And so hopefully I can do that after the game has allowed me to play the game as far as I can.
Absolutely, man. And that's beautiful. And I love to hear things like that, because that is exactly what we need in this world, man. So that's awesome. That is awesome to hear. And that's definitely something that your son will love to look up to. And my dad was a football player and a lawyer. Come on, man. Like it don't get too much better. Next D1 football, professional football. Now he's out of here saving folks from the law. Like, hey, man, that is awesome to hear, dog. That is awesome. Now, I just got a few more questions for you. Just for someone, like you said, a lot of the players on the team are new, including yourself. but they've had a lot of success at Jackson State over the last couple of years. What does that feel like walking into a team that has won SWAC championships the last 2 years, that has made 2 straight appearances to the Celebration Bowl? How do you feel coming into a team that's done that, but some people may be a little down on because of the transition? How do you feel being a player on the team?
I mean, you kind of understand the rich history way before that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We get to work out in a building called the Walter Payton. You
Come
know
on.
So I mean, it goes way deeper than just, 2 SWAC championships. And so carrying that on your shoulders is big, and you got to be able to carry with pride. Like Coach TC says, I mean, we the hottest thing in the city, and that's true. We're the hottest thing out. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a lot going on for ourselves as far as a program. And a lot of people find a lot of joy in what we provide, going out there winning football games. And so my job is just to keep providing that happiness. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, like, I'm an entertainer. I play football, but it's a form of entertainment. I'm here to entertain you guys and put on a show. At the end of the day, it's something that you guys are going to love the outcome of. And so when you're an entertainer, you got to hold that on your shoulders and really provide a great show every single time. You have to be consistent every single time, and I pride myself on that part. And so it's just that, you know what I'm saying? I'm just carrying it on my shoulders one day at a time, a lot more weight than it is just a SWAC championship. But as far as the team goes, I think we kind of understand what's been built with the previous staff and the previous team. A lot of people that were instrumental in that team have gone on to do different things, but they have left the program. And so with what we have going on now, it's kind of just making sure that we just don't slip. You know what I'm saying? We just don't slip. Don't give anybody the opportunity to say, our coach isn't the right guy for the job. You know what I'm saying? Don't give them any room to say, well, the old staff did this and they did this better. None of that. No, we got to go out and pick up where they left off. They built something great here, and we just got to keep it going. That's from 2 years ago. That's from 5 years ago. That's from 10 years ago. That's 20 years ago. We just got to keep it going.
Absolutely, man. And that's awesome to hear you say that, and being someone that prides themselves on leadership. That is something that's going to be a good message to not just echo to your team, but also to the fans and the supporters. And they understand, man. They know what's going on, and that's awesome. And as long as you, like you said, as long as you go out there and do your job, I think you guys will have a great success, man. So that's what everybody wants in this thing. As far as and I'll get you out of here on this, man. Esaias, hey, congratulations. I wish you the best of luck at JSU. But for the people that you shouted out your business and stuff, but let them know where they can find you on social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever you got, and how that they want to connect as far as NIL, where we can make that happen, man. We all about promoting that business, that NIL. If anybody wants to link up.
Yeah, so my Twitter is my full name, Esaias Guthrie, Esaias Guthrie on Twitter. Respond. Instagram is at sai.less. That's say.less. And you can also DM me on there as well. I just love talking to the fans. I love to interact with them, whether it's out in the community or over my phone. Whenever I have free time, just because I know that they are the real driving force of what goes on around here. And I just want to make sure that they know that Esaias Guthrie is not just a football player. I'm still just a regular old person at the end of the day. So I ain't Hollywood. I ain't none of that, man. I'm right with you guys. So hopefully I can get the opportunity to go out into the community within these next few months and really just interact the best I know how. I know I'm going to a spot tonight. I think they're like 10:30 for my birthday celebration, but I hope a lot of people come out. Well, tonight, when you hear this, it'll be yesterday. So.
Hey, it's all good, man. But they'll love you, man. And I hope, and like I said, I wish you nothing but the best of luck, man. Once again, this is Esaias Guthrie, Jackson State DB. He's gonna be there. He's right there in Jackson. Shoot him a DM, shoot him a message. If you got any business opportunities, hit him up, man, because this is a guy that's gonna be a baller out there, not only this spring, but especially come the fall 2023 season. They say the motto at Jackson State is guard the yard, and we want to start in Atlanta and finish in Atlanta, man. Hey, congratulations to you, Esaias. Wish you nothing but the best, buddy. I'll stay in contact, and I wish you nothing but the best, and congratulations again.
Appreciate you, boss. Appreciate you so much.
It's no problem. Once again, you're watching the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button on your way out, and we will see you